Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome along. This is Falls from Iron. I'll get this bit out of the way because there is much to cover. Please don't forget to like, comment on, and share the stream. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Make sure you hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. And as always, your support. Right. We're here to discuss the goings-on yesterday at London Stadium, Duke. I know that you've got much you want to cover. So please.
Well, you started out with hit the bell, and I smacked the referee like shitless.
Oh,
honest to God,
Neil.
Where shall we start?
Well, where shall we start? That is a very good question.
I'll tell you what. Let me get it out of the way because I've already alluded to this in the chat.
Ooh.
In the WhatsApp chat. I'm going to get it out of the way early. I said in the stream for the preview that I felt that this could be a game for Mr. Benrahma. This could be
straight in.
Listen, I want to get it out of the way because there's several people in the chat that agree with me. He had several opportunities yesterday to play an intelligent ball, to use this, and it just aimlessly hit the ball into their players in the box. Like, don't get me wrong. This is not a full slagging match. He made some real good runs, some real penetrative runs deep behind their lines. Great ball, 60-yard, 70-yard pass from
Dawson.
From Dawson. It's a good save by the goalkeeper. He gets a hand up. There was a player further back that he could have maybe had a look, but I'm not going to diss him for that.
She showed bravery.
It did. He went for goal. It's unlucky. The keeper makes a good save. There's nothing I can say on that. But what follows is, for me, 3 or 4 other just aimlessly passed balls that hit their defenders, aimlessly passed balls that went to no one, just crosses. And I was
quite frustrating when you look at a player of his quality, isn't it?
And you know what? And that's it. And I'm not here to diss him, but I did say that I was going to bring it up because I said personally that a key figure for West Ham in yesterday's game could have been, say, Benrahma if he took it. Well, he didn't take it. For me, there were 3 or 4 aimless balls in that first half that were pointless. For me, it was the only sub that could have been made once Cresswell had gone. Was him coming off. I wanted to talk about the first half. The first half, I thought we started tentatively. It was very much as the commentators. Was it Peter Walton? I think it was on the telly last night. Turned around and said
the ex-ref.
No. I don't know, mate. It was a commentator for BT Sport. I believe it was Peter Walton. I don't know. Don't hold me to that. It might have been. Basically, he turned around and said, it's like a chess game. These first 25 minutes have been like a chess game. They're feeling each other out. Lyon pressed us. We played some great balls out of the back. You know, the 60, 70-yard pass for Benrahma to get in and behind. And there were 2 or 3 times he did get in behind. In fact, there were 5 times he got in behind. 1 he had a shot for. Awful. Dribbled it a couple of times.
Cheers, Chris.
But Chris, thank you. Same to you, buddy.
Likewise, yes, exactly. Exactly.
And then I felt we started to come out of our shell, and we started to pick them off. We did start to pick them off, and we were starting to play the balls and some good football, some pretty football. It was. I felt that if we'd stayed at 11 men, that scoreline's completely different. Mikel Antonio showed me that he is a better player than I've given him credit for with his hold-up play and his winning of the ball. He stayed on his feet, which is a lot more than can be said for their absolute showers of shit yesterday. The rolling around on the floor when we're breaking.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you. There was one time, and I think it was Ndombele who was on the floor holding his
He was on the floor a few times.
Well, he was, yeah, but he was holding his upper thigh, and I heard the scream of agony through the telly, which then the referee 10 seconds later stopped the game for him to jump up onto his feet and go again. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's not a head injury. He's clearly holding his thigh. Same with Boateng. Boateng went down, held his knee. And then they did some sort of weird, let me drag you along the pitch by your leg kind of thing on the touchline. And I'm watching it going, well, that's not your head injury. They're not serious injuries. What's the problem? Sharky's right.
I think they all had an inner ear balance problem, didn't they?
In fairness to Antonio, who I have accused in recent games of doing exactly that and going down far too easily, he was immense last night in his hold-up play. I mean, there was one where he found Benrahma with an absolutely fantastic header. And Benrahma used a bit of intelligence, did push him a little bit wide, but it was a good pass. Pushed him a little bit wide. Obviously, Boateng, I think it was Boateng, got back, made the tackle, ball went out for a corner. But he was strong up front. And I felt going in at half-time, 0-0, it was a finely balanced tie. It was an evenly balanced tie. Then the referee decides that he's going to live up to the name that he earned when he was in Germany.
For those that are not aware, and hello, Martin. Glad to have you along, mate. Yes, you're obviously a bit of an expert when it comes to matters Austrian and German Bundesliga because of obviously your family history. Is this a referee that you were aware of before this tie? Are you aware of his past?
I saw something about his past that I think it was Knees Up Mother Brown had put out. And then I looked into it a little bit more. And I was asking questions before the game. Okay, I was asking questions that, how is he still allowed to referee? Now, let me ask you this, Rob.
Yep.
And I asked the question of a gentleman downstairs in my pub, and he was in agreement with me. If you, sir, Mr. Gates, are a stock trader and you are found out to be fraudulently selling secrets or buying secrets and making a lot of money illegally, you're banned from stock trading, right or wrong?
Permanently. It's a bit like if you're caught taking bribes as a police officer, that is you done as far as being a police officer is concerned. I made a little bit of a jokey comment, but I'll tell you the comment I made, and it made the person laugh, and it was meant to make the person laugh, but it was also, there was a serious point behind it. I turned around and said, what are we going to have next? Are we going to have Prince Andrew being a PE coach at a girls' secondary school? Is that where we're at? Seriously? I mean, this geezer he owned up when he was pulled before the German authorities for an offence that happened 3 years prior to that, about him taking a backhander from another official. And then fast forward however many years, and this geezer's in charge of a prestige tournament match in the latter stages.
There it is.
Are you for real?
All right. As a referee, and I say this because obviously,
hey, Malsey.
Evening, Squire. Enjoy tonight, my man.
Nice.
If I'm a referee, Rob, if you're a referee, okay, the pinnacle of your career as a referee, correct me if I'm wrong, would be to referee at a World Cup.
Yes.
Same as a pinnacle for a player would be to play at a World Cup, right? Or even a European Championships, yeah?
Yeah.
As a referee, the next thing down would be to maybe referee the final of the Champions League or the Europa League, or even referee in Europe to be classed as a Europa or UEFA competition qualified coach or standard referee. And then obviously the top league of where you're based would be your next set of movements, FA Cup,
Yeah.
league, the league finals of those, and the top league in your in your country. So for a referee who has been found guilty, if I read it right, was it €500,000 or was it? I'm not 100%.
How much the brown envelope he took was contained?
No, that he was fined.
I don't know about that, but I know he got
He got
the story that
jail
I got
sentence.
told. No, I don't think he got jailed, but I think he was banned from football activities for 6 months.
Well, that's.
But
not
the thing
really
is
good
that
enough.
that wasn't. I don't know if you realise this, but it's not as if in 2006 when he got found guilty that it was publicised. It only came out latterly when there was a German newspaper that actually did a little bit of digging and found this piece of information out about the guy. Up to that point, it was not common knowledge. It was all kept very, very hush hush. And I do ask myself the question, why?
Oh yeah, well, Andy's just touched on it there, mate.
No, I'm not surprised.
They're both organisations there are as corrupt as shit. They really are. I don't care. I'm disappointed, to say the least, that this referee, unfortunately, was in charge of our game yesterday.
I'm not
I
too
think,
sure he was in charge, actually.
but I'd like to point out that we were played yesterday by a team and a referee who know the dark arts of European competition. We don't know that, and we fell foul to it yesterday. They went down under the slightest of touches. They went down under the easiest of touches. That in Premier League games, mate, they're not giving us free kicks. The referee's not stopping the game every 30 seconds because someone's hurt their little pinky and shit. We better stop the game because it's not a head injury. All shit like that. And I'm disappointed that we found ourselves on the receiving end of that. Do you know what I mean? I get that it goes on, but
we can't stop them diving around, can we? It's just the only thing that we
the
could do
referee
is
should
maybe
have got a grip on the game early and said, "Look, enough of that bullshit," and he didn't.
You say get a grip. This is a guy that from where I was sitting. Did you see in the second half from where I was sitting? It looked like there was a foul throw, and he got them to retake it.
Yeah. Now, it was a free. It was a foul throw. Basically, he went to throw and stop himself. Ball slipped out of his hands. Foul throw. Don't give a shit. You're taught that at a young age.
Well, I refereed, but when both my sons and my daughter were going through the system, I would referee, and up to a certain age, you give them a little bit of leeway, but then they get to a certain age, and you have to start going, no, hang on. By the time you're 13 or something like that, you should now know how to take a throw in, and if you don't do it properly, I'm giving it to the other team, and that's all there is to it. Done. This is a European competition. These are grown men. These are probably international footballers. Are you telling me that if they take a foul throw, that you shouldn't be giving it to the other team? He let him retake it. There was another one earlier in the game, and my daughter turned around and said, "That's ridiculous." I went, "What's that?" She said, "That was a foul throw, Dad. He had his back leg up as he's sort of like releasing the ball, and the linesman was right there,
was literally standing behind him. Yeah,
nothing.
Yep. I mean, listen, from top to bottom, the officiating from the standard what was on the pitch to the linesman or the assistants, to VAR, it was diabolical.
Was that working last night?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, as far as BT Sports said, that they looked at the sending off, and that was it. They confirmed it was a sending off. Now, I mean, let me ask you this, Rob, with regards to the sending off. I want you to do me a favour for a second.
Yes.
Take off your specs.
Yep.
Okay. Take off your West Ham specs.
Mm-hmm.
That happens at the other end. Are you going to be pissed off it's not a red?
I don't know. I think, put it this way, in real time, at the ground, if that was at the other end, hand on heart, yes, I probably would. Yes, I probably would. Obviously, now with the benefit of a day later, watching it on replays, multiple different angles, slow motions, real time, whatever, I got to say, I'm looking at it and going, yellow card, yeah, no problem with that. Red card, not so sure. I'm not so sure.
Right,
And here's
taking
the
West
thing,
Ham.
Andy Jacobs on TalkSport, Chelsea fan, even he was turning around saying, "Nah, it's not a red card, mate. It's not a red card."
Mate,
He's got no love for West Ham. He hasn't got a dog in the fight. But even he was turning around and going, "Nah."
Yeah, mate. I listen. I tell you what. Yes, because I went fucking mad in my pub. I was told to calm down. In my own pub.
Oh, really, Peter? Oh. Is that was that the one, Pete? Was that the one that I was talking to? That I said to Peter on a message I said this morning. There's like a kiosk by the as you come out of the supporters bar,
Yes.
and you turn left as if you're going towards the stadium, and just before you get to the bridge, which is now on your left, there's a kiosk on your right, and they sell food there, and it actually was a pretty decent deal. It was like £7.50, got you a doner meat wrap, some chips and a drink, £7.50. And I was like, I'm not being funny. I go inside the Ring of Steel, and I think for the same price, maybe a little bit more, I get a bratwurst in a roll. Which, don't get me wrong, it's very nice, but for this, I can get sort of like, that plus chips plus a drink, £7.50. I was like, yeah, that'll do me. So, sponsorship for one or two channels. Okay, we might have to have a word.
I like the idea.
Might have to have a word. But seriously, the referee was just baffling.
I agree with you there. I do agree with you. But the more you watch it back, the more I look at it, the more I don't understand how VAR didn't get involved. I think one of the deciding factors was Kurt Zuma not busting a bollock to be back where he could have been.
Yeah, I agree.
Listen,
I think that did put him in the cart a little bit.
Listen, anywhere else on the pitch, that ain't even a booking. Anywhere else on the pitch at that point in the game, considering that Cresswell hadn't even touched anyone up until that point, that wasn't even like it was his full foul and the referee's got the ump. That ain't even a yellow card elsewhere on the pitch, Rob. That's a fucking stop it. Stop being a prick, right? Yes, he kind of strokes his arm. He doesn't need to go down like he's been dragged and pulled backwards into a spin. There's no need for it.
But he does if he was trying to get the player sent off, though.
Right, there it is. There it is.
Or win a
right.
if he's sort of like get in the box.
That's
penalty,
it. Rob.
Whatever.
That's it. He's trying to get the player sent off. There was no sportsmanship. There was no, listen, it was gamesmanship from start to finish. And the fact that, pardon my French, I'm not even going to use the word. I'm not going to use the word because I don't want to get this stream banned or the channel screwed over. He was a C. He got up and he winked. Oh, mate, I tell you now, I nearly
Cristiano Ronaldo.
All day long, Rob. I even put that on Twitter last night. That it was very... And listen, how hated was Ronaldo when he came back to England after that World Cup?
By everybody outside of Manchester.
Right? Even in Manchester, there was a few boos, mate, all day long because that cost us... What it could have cost us? It did cost us World Cup or Euros or whatever it was that happened. But as Walshy says, right, there it is. European teams have always done that.
It shouldn't have been a surprise.
No, that's what I said. They played the dark arts, Rob. They played us at the dark arts and they won. I've got no qualms, an argument with that. That's what they done. They played it. They won it. They won that part of the game. But listen, I mean, I personally think that we came out second half, and we were on point. I'll be honest with you. Considering we're down to 10, considering that we are now in a situation where we are going to have our backs to the walls, we went, nah, we're still going to play. We're still going to find that out ball. And I thought that Zuma and Dawson and cheers, Peach. Sorry I didn't come back on last night. I was on my arse. I thought the outballs to Bowen, to Fornals, even to Antonio was they were brilliant. They weren't just hit and hope. Latter stages, yes, but they weren't just hit and hope passes. They were picking players out. They were meaningful. And lo and behold, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't even know what minute it was. Was it something like 57, 58 minutes?
What? Our goal?
Our goal.
52nd.
Oh, 52nd. We came out, and listen, there was a little bit of luck, Rob.
But you earn your own luck.
Because with a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. Anyway, so did the Peach. We listen. We were deserved to be 1-0 up at that point. I felt we were dogged. We were determined. I honestly thought that. We could do something at that point. I honestly thought we could do something. And then they brought on that Akimpembe. No, who's the other fellow?
Oh, is it Akambi?
Akambi. Oh my God, that changed the game. That changed everything that we were doing after that. And if I'd like to point out, I had a little bit of a row last night on Twitter.
Did you?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like you.
We're living rent free. That was all I put. Every tweet that I saw that was by a spud, because Ndombele, even when they're not playing for our Spurs players, managed to screw up West Ham season. Oh,
there's a second leg to go.
And I literally, Rob, the only thing I put on about 18 tweets was hashtag rent free, and they came back with, "Oh, you'll be fighting relegation in 2 years." I was like, mate, shut up. You're the one. It ain't rent free. I got called a mong at one point, which I reported the tweet because I thought, well, that's not very nice, is it? It's not a word we use in today's society. You fucking knobhead. So yeah, I just it's unfortunate because if it was some good football, I saw some people slating Johnson for the goal and after the game and everything else. I'm like, nah, I'm not having it. The guy is a seasoned international. He's a seasoned European competitor. It's Akembe or whatever his name is, Akimpembe or whatever, I can't think.
Akambi.
That's it. He's I think he's their joint top scorer.
He's the joint top goal scorer in this
Europe.
competition.
There you go. So he played Johnson and Mary Dance for the goal.
Would you take him
all day long? I'll tell you now who I'm not taking.
Dembele?
I said I'd take him before the first leg, mate. I said to you, didn't I?
I know you did. I wasn't sure if you changed your mind.
He's the first player that I buy on Football Manager. Guess what? I'm going nowhere near the brick.
Yeah.
I just
the winker.
Yeah, the winker, massive. And then, the ball's played across. Areola gets a touch on it, and if Fredericks leaves it, it goes out of play. But Fredericks is doing his job because he's a defender. He's defending. He's doing his job. He's blocked the ball and he's trying to scoop it away. And obviously, Ndombele is there, and it's 1-0. And listen, it wasn't something I wasn't expecting to happen. I was fully expecting that to happen at some point in the game, that they were going to score. Now, that being said, we still had another couple of chances.
Mm-hmm.
There was one chance in the 85th minute, 84th minute. Now, I know Mr. Croucher has apologised.
Oh, that. Oh,
I'm not going to say his first name, because everyone here already knows this young man's first name. without a doubt. So I'm not going to put it out there. But Mr. Croucher has come out and apologised. Now, I've heard some rumours that Mr. Croucher is a Chelsea fan.
I've heard that as well.
Oh, I've heard some rumours that Mr. Croucher is also a spud.
I've also heard that one.
And I've also heard that Mr. Croucher is actually a West Ham fan. Now, if Mr. Croucher is a West Ham fan, I'd like to have a little conversation with him, one-on-one, and tell him how much of a massive C I believe he is. If he's a spud or a Chelsea fan, I want to have a word with the West Ham ticket office, and I want to find out how. Someone like me, okay, I've not been to many games, and I struggle to get to games.
They do, George.
But how does fans of opposition clubs get tickets when our massive fan base can't? Like, what is that all about?
I've seen it so many times over the last 6 years. I've seen it where people have clearly not been West Ham fans. Or
Hey, listen, games against Burnley, I get. Okay, I get. Because not all the West Ham fans want to go to Burnley, so there's still going to be tickets available, and that's going to happen. But this is a major European night at the London Stadium, and you just got to ask questions. But then if they are West Ham fans, mate, you've got to ask questions as to what the actual fuck do they think that they're doing?
I don't think if he was a West Ham fan, I think he must have been out of his nut on booze.
Well,
why would you do that?
The commentator did turn around and say on BT Sport, I remember my first half a pint of shandy when the first one ran on the pitch. Because in fairness, he did look about 12, to be honest with you. But all that aside, mate, it's half time in the tie and we're 1-1. And
well, they couldn't beat us when we had 10 men for 45 minutes.
And I reckon, listen, all David Moyes has to do next Thursday, all David Moyes has to do in that changing room next Thursday, is get a big screen projector on the wall in the changing room. Get a projector in that changing room, attach his phone to it,
Hammerhead,
and replay the video of Moussa Dembele winking.
Oh, David Moyes massively needs to harness a little bit of what Fergie used to do for Manchester United. He was an absolute master of taking a negative and turning it into a positive by creating this siege mentality in the camp. When a player got sent off, when a goal didn't get given that, would have changed the game for them, he used that as a fuel for Manchester United to go on and win the next 3, 4, 5 games, whatever. He was an absolute master of it. And this is what David Moyes needs to do. He literally needs to harness the negativity.
Can I quickly just say what he says? You just mentioned the man there. Someone put on Twitter last night, David Moyes is perfect for clubs like West Ham and Everton. He's a great manager. He's just not an elite manager. He proved that at Manchester United. And my comment I turned around and I put that if he hadn't managed Manchester United the first time round, he would be in contention for the United job off the back of what he's done for West Ham. And I don't care what anyone says on the back of that, okay? He would be in the running for the Manchester United job right now. He is better than anyone that they have had since he was sacked. Okay?
Yeah.
The Sunderland thing was a slip up. They were terrible choices. So was Real Sociedad.
Well,
okay.
I'd say, the thing with Sunderland that I would argue with people, yes, he was at the wheel when they slipped down into the Championship. But let's have it right. The previous 3-4 seasons, they went from, I think it was Martin O'Neill to Dick Advocaat to Paolo Di Canio to Sam Allardyce and eventually to David Moyes. And each time it was the same pattern. The previous manager would get the sack. The next manager would come in, get them just about above the drop zone by the time the 38th game had finished. But then that manager would go into the following season, crap start, He gets sacked. Next manager comes in. Same thing. Above the drop zone, 38th game. Following season, he has a crap start. He's sacked. Next manager comes in. Rinse and repeat. And it went like that for about 4 seasons. And you just knew at some point
they were going to
your luck's going to run out.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that David Moyes was the guy that was in harness. I don't blame David Moyes for Sunderland going down. Absolutely not. You can see it coming a million miles off.
But I just think it's a bad choice to take the job. Is
possibly
what I meant was, yeah. But listen, right. I'm not sure what Hammerhead was saying there about the fighting, West Ham fans fighting. I didn't see.
Yeah, someone said something about something going on in the Billy Bond stand. I heard something, and I heard that maybe an hour ago. And I got to be honest, news to me, absolute news to me. And again, were they West Ham fans? You know,
there's a question. Have they been noted that they've got some sort of Spud or Chelsea or other kit on? Kent's right. Kent's right in what he says. Let's not get carried away with the game. Thursday we've got a game in the middle. We've got a game on Sunday to deal with. So it's frustrating because I feel that last night was a fantastic opportunity for us to set ourselves up for a real good place to go to Lyon. That being said, I think we're in the best possible place that we could be right now, considering the circumstances at the end of the first half.
Yeah.
So now we're at a point where, this is the best case scenario, Rob, with 10 men after 43 minutes, that we're now 1-1 going out there with 90 minutes still to play,
And don't forget that away goal is not like away goals in the old days where it counted as double. It don't. So that goal doesn't matter. We can go to Lyon and get a 0-0 draw, take it to penalties and get through.
Yeah.
Not the end of the world. So, and like I say, I'm trying to take a little bit of positivity and say, if they couldn't beat us with, a 1-man, well, I'd say a 2-man advantage. But let's be generous and say a 1-man advantage.
It was actually a 5-man advantage, Mr. Roberts, because
if you wanted to include
11, the referee, his 2 assistants, and VAR, we were up against it full stop.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. But if they couldn't beat us with all of those odds stacked against us, bring it on.
Is it a different referee?
God, I hope so.
Questions asked.
I hope so. I'm hoping it's Stevie Wonder.
Well, it can't be any worse. I'm hoping it's Mike Dean.
Mate, seriously, and I said this to you in a voice note this morning.
You did indeed.
We moan in this country, and sometimes with justification, we moan about the referees in this country. Seriously, have a look at that referee last night and try and take the worst performance you can pick of a referee in this season that you've seen in the Premier League, and tell me which one's worse. Yeah. Honestly, I will tell you now. That referee last night, no, just no. Give me a Premier League referee all day long and twice on a Sunday. Budgie, hope you're well.
Yeah, no, it was it was embarrassing as a performance, but as I said, it's half time. It's 1-1. Yes, all right, we've got to go away. Yes, all right, Lyon are a strong European side. Yes, all right, it's going to be difficult. Is it going to be more difficult with 11 men away from home than it was with 10 at? So let's not muck about. Trudge, bang on, mate. Couldn't be more proud of that team last night. And I couldn't be more prouder of David Moyes for his halftime reaction at the referee. I'd like to make a comment on that. He went steaming, Rob.
Never seen him get a yellow.
I've never seen him so angry. But my God, the man went. He was absolutely fuming.
He was incandescent.
Oh, it was. When you listen to if you listen to Colton and Joe on BT Sport, Colton Carlton said, if I'd done that in my career, I would have been absolutely vilified. He went, if I went down like Dembele did in my career, I would have been absolutely vilified. And yet here we've got a guy that's done it in Europe for his team, and damn, he's got away with it. And we're the ones now paying the price. I don't know. Can we? You guys in the chat were talking about it earlier. Can we appeal it?
I think we can, and I think looking at the way that David Moyes reacted, I think that it's very difficult for us to not appeal it. But do I have faith in UEFA that they're going to overturn their referee's on-field decision? No. Regrettably, I think we're going to Lyon next Thursday, minus Aaron Cresswell, minus one of our best deliverers of a set piece in the squad.
Then
I don't think he will be available.
Then for me, Glenn Ben starts on the left and Vlad starts on the right.
Agreed.
Keep Arthur Masuaku away from this fucking game, please.
You wouldn't give Fredericks another go.
I thought he was caught out a couple of times on last night. I don't think he was perfect last night. I think he was caught out a few times. You know, for me, we're going to need the battling fuck you spirit of Vladimir Sufal next week. The one who will, you know, I'm not being funny. Listen, I'm not saying Fredericks was any angel last night when he walked past the fella. The geezer was walking across him. Fredericks kind of knew what he was doing. The other geezer kind of knew what he was doing. The second he stuck his head into Fredericks' face, part of me's wishing that Fredericks did the dark arts and went down holding his nose. I don't care. That's where I'm at. You know, they were dirty bastards. Yeah. But do
you know something? This is where I
would have got sent off at that moment in time because he would have laid him the fuck out.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say, I know you sort of mentioned earlier about they're experienced in playing European football and we're not. Well, we're not as in West Ham United, but look at the team. Areola's played European football. Zuma's played European football. You look at Declan Rice. He's playing international football, and he would have come across a lot of these people, you know, playing a similar type of football where they get a touch, they go down screaming. Thomas Soucek's played European football. Ben Rama's played in France. I'm not sure that it's a case of experience. I just think that David Moyes isn't going to. I don't think David Moyes is going to ever say to his players, if you feel a touch, go down and scream like a girl. Whereas I'm not convinced that their manager would do the same. I don't know enough about him, so
I think Trodger's nailed it twice with 2 comments. He's turned around and said we were naive, and he says that honesty seems to be punished in the modern game.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's right. Yeah,
I agree with that. Sadly, and the thing is that do you sink to that level in order to be able to compete, succeed, survive? Do you kind of have to push your principles to one side and go, if you can't beat them, join them? Do you have to do that?
No, you shouldn't have to. That should be stamped out by the referee. But proof in the pudding last night was, you had to join them.
Fight fire with fire.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Should we do player ratings, old chap?
Yes, let's.
Guys in the live chat, please feel free to get stuck into it. Give us your marks out of 10. No half marks, you know the rules. And also maybe put a little bit of context as to why you're giving the mark that you are. It'd be quite interesting to see what some of you think. So, and we'll get some of your comments up as we go along. So, Duke, we will start in goal and we will go with Alphonse Areola. What did you make of his performance?
I'm going to go 7.
Okay.
I think he was again. He's that typical kind of commanding goalkeeper that I've got used to seeing. His communication with the back four was very, very good. Now I got to see that because I see some of the ratings and the replays, and slightly different to be able to see from the that you get to see on the telly. So I'd give Areola a 7. I just think he, as Hammerhead says there, the team behind him are a lot more settled. So the team in front of him are a lot more settled with him in goal. He's commanding nature, his constant communication, and for me that showed last night. I'll give him a 7.
Okay. I will ask you to mark Aaron Cresswell on his time up to the red card. What were your thoughts on him up to and including what happened?
Again, he's a 7. I thought he was. I thought up until that point, his link-up play with Benny down the wing was good. He gave Benny an out, whether or not Benny decided to use it or not. He was constantly there to give Benny an out, a way to come back and recycle. Didn't always do it, but he was always there.
Okay, fair enough. We'll go with the other side. Ryan Fredericks.
Seeing as I can't go half, I'm going to go 7. I was going to go 6.5.
Okay,
but I'm going to go 7 because I can't give it a half mark. What I will say is he found himself in a couple of positions last night where it showed that he doesn't have the greatest of a defensive mindset. Very much like Arthur when he's on the other side. I'm going to change it. I'm going to go for a 6. I am. Okay. I just think because he was partially at fault for the sending off, because the ball comes from a man that he doesn't close down. We have a habit of backing off, and Dawson and Zuma did it a couple of times last night. And yeah, it was his, he didn't put the pressure on the player. Just gave the player all the time in the world to pick that pass to find Dembele on the run. So, yeah, I'd give him a 6.
Kurt Zuma?
Commanding, I'm going to give him 7.
Okay.
Would have been an 8. It didn't bust a bollock to get back on the Cressy. It would have been an 8 for me. And, again, great communication between him and Big Mikey D and Areola behind him. I just think that he, if he'd busted a nut to get back, we might have been looking at a different story.
Yeah, because you might have been able to argue that Zuma was there as well, so he wasn't the last player, so therefore it's not a red. Fair point. Trodge is not happy with him. He says he's a 5, but this guy just I don't know how to describe him anymore. Craig Dawson. What did you think of him?
It's a 9.
9.
I'm going to give the guy a 9.
He was
the
impressive.
only reason he's not going to get a 10 was because he was left covered in blood. No, fuck it. 10.
You're giving him a 10.
The geezer a 10. He was absolutely on point last night. He led with a captain's performance last night. He was outstanding. He won as much in the air as is humanly possible. Not
yet, Pat. That's coming. That's coming. Stick around.
I'd like to put the mark out on the ref.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, the guy broke his nose last night. If my mind serves me, from what I'm being told, and that was in the 90th minute. Rob, he played the last 7 or 8 minutes with a broken nose. For fuck's sake, like He got up and was spitting blood for this club. He gets a 10 for me last night. He played a captain's performance last night. He was amazing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought he was absolutely immense, and he did 3 challenges in quick succession, 3 tackles in quick succession, bang, 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 which just epitomised the spirit that from the sending off to the final whistle that we needed to show in order to get through and get some sort of, whether you'd class a 1-1 draw when you've got 10 men for 45 minutes, whether you class that as a positive result or not, I don't know. But he was dogged, he was determined, he was organising at the back, and he just had a never say die attitude. He just rolled his sleeves up and went, no, there's nothing that's going to get past me now. That's you've had your goal, but just nothing else.
Pound for pound, Rob. Pound for pound, the best value signing anyone has ever made. At 2 million quid, 2.5 million quid, that geezer is value for money, the best signing ever made. And I don't care what people say about for West Ham. The best value
I am going to disagree with you.
I know you're going to go Devo.
Yep.
At 20 grand, and I get that, and that's a fair comment.
I think it was 5 grand, wasn't it?
Was it 5? I don't know. But for me, no. He was absolutely immense last night. There are not enough words. I'd have to invent new words to continue describing that man this season if he carries on putting in performances like that.
Fair enough. We move just slightly in front of the back line. Talk to me about Thomas Souček.
He's going to get he's going to go 7. He did quite a lot to break up play in the second half when he dropped in. He dropped in to create kind of a back 6, if you will, towards the end with Dec. I'm going to give him a 7, but he didn't offer much going forward because we couldn't. But defensively, he was there. I'm going to give him a 7.
Fair enough. His partner, the captain on the night, Declan Rice.
I think Declan Rice had a relatively quiet game compared to his usual standards of what he can do. That being said, he still gets a 7. He still gets a 7 from me. It was a poor game on his front, but it was still a good game by anyone else's standards. I think, Declan Rice. And I think once the sending off came in, he rallied those boys like a proper captain. He rallied that team really well.
Fair enough. Should I go? I'm going to get this one out of the way. Saeed Benrahma.
Would have been a 5.
But
I'm going to give him a 6 because I'm going to give him the extra point for the take of the Dawson pass and the shot that the keeper had to make a save. I mean, there were 4 or 5 other attempts last night where he put the ball into no one apart from someone in a white shirt.
And he's getting a 6.
The
way he was going earlier, I thought he'd been lucky to get a 3.
No, he was going to get a 5, but I'll give him a 6 for the shot. But I thought Benny was, I can't even be honest with you. But it was the right substitution to make. I'm glad it was him.
Let's go to the goal scorer then, Jared Bowen.
He gets an 8 from. He gets a 9 from me. If I'm giving Dawson a 10,
he was busy, wasn't he?
A 9. He was very busy. He always was giving everyone else an outlet. Budgie's been smoking something this evening quite clearly. I love you, Budge, but I'm not quite sure where you found that
Evening,
one
from. Mark. The Benrahma, Mark.
Yeah, this next one. I'm pretty sure he's been smoking something. I love you, Budgie, I do, but Jesus wept, son. Come on, sort your shit out. Either that or you're just doing it for me. No, Bowen gets a 9 from me. He was always offering up an outlet from, he was buzzing around. He was a bit like bit like a mosquito, Rob. He was one of them irritating and annoying little fuckers for Lyon last night. He was a constant press, and it was impressive from Bowen last night. I loved it.
Yeah, fair enough. Playing in the number 10 position in the absence of Manuel Lanzini, Pablo Fornals.
8.
Again, he was very busy.
He's closing down. He's chasing. He was putting a lot of pressure onto their back line when they were having the ball, especially in the first half. He was creating it. Again, him and Bowen, pair of mosquitoes last night, irritating as shit. I just want to go back to Ben Rama actually on one quick thing. And the reason I gave him a 6 was there was one point in the first half as well where he tracked back really well to nick the ball off the toes as they were ready to play a through ball towards the box. He got back, I believe, and toe poked the ball out of possession for them to I think it was Souček. He kind of got in and just nicked it. But Fornals, I'm going to give Pablo, what did I say, an 8, didn't I? I was going to say a 9.
You did, yeah.
An 8. No, Pablo's an 8, Bowen's a 9, and Big Doors was the 10. Yeah.
Budgie's just qualifying his earlier score of Ben Rama.
Budgie, whatever you're smoking, put it down.
Just say no, Budgie. Just say no. Michael Antonio?
I'm going to give him an 8.
He was fed on scraps in the second half, wasn't he?
You know what? But he didn't give up, Rob.
No.
He didn't give up. You know, there were a couple of times the header for Ben Rama was brilliant. He had this whole awareness of where he was, where the defenders were, and just how much to put on that header to land at the feet of Ben Rama as he was running through for the pass that put Antonio a bit wide. He works his nuts off for very little reward as well. That being said, part of that is his own fault, but he works his nuts off. He gets kicked. I mean, I can't imagine he's not woken up. Oh, capital letters is back. I can't imagine he hasn't woke up without a few bruises this morning. Oh, Mikel.
We're going to have to, if we marked Aaron Cresswell on playing 45 minutes of football, I think it's probably only fair if we do the same with young Ben Johnson.
7 for young Benny Boy. And that is because he struggled once, Kimpembe or whatever. I still don't know his name, Rob.
It can be.
That's it. Him. Fuck with. He struggled a bit when he came on because that geezer was scarily good. I'm not going to lie. I've never even heard of him before, but I liked it.
Okay.
Not going to blame him too much.
Do you want to mark David Moyes before we ask you to mark the ref?
I'm going to give David Moyes an 8. I think, and I know others are saying it was the wrong formation and whatnot. Maybe so, but I think tactically he got it right, especially once we come out in the second half. I think we set up right. Fair comment, Andy. Yeah, bottled that one.
The one where he jumped over the ball when the goalkeeper was coming out.
I think he was more worried about smacking him in the jaw, but for me, I'd have smashed keeper in the jaw, to be perfectly honest with you, and gone for the ball.
Yeah. Playing the ball. If the goalkeeper gets in the way, that's collateral damage, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, both there to play the ball. As long as you do that, it's fine. But so what do you mark David Moyes?
8.
8. Okay, so now we got the big one. The referee, Felix Zweier.
Minus 3 million.
Minus 3 million. Talk to me why. I'll tell you what. List the good points. That'll do. Yep.
There it is.
Yeah. He turned up.
Yeah, basically. Well, I wish he hadn't. What's the favouritism, Sahil? Talk to me.
Is he? I don't know if he's talking about the referee. I don't know. Not sure.
No,
Don't know.
I know what he's talking about.
Oh, do
But
you?
I want to hear it first.
Oh, okay.
I know where he's going with this. Well, I
Fair
think
enough.
I do.
Yeah. Press the caps lock button though. Press the caps lock button.
Please do.
So you've gone minus 3 million.
Oh,
Well, Peach has gone minus 100 million. Fair.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with Mark.
Kept hearing Lyon were better than Seville. Not for me. Seville would have ripped our 10 men to shreds. Yeah. But then again, styles make fights as well, don't they? You know, just because that team beats that team and that team beats that team doesn't follow that team beats that team. Do you know what I mean? It's like sometimes it's just your styles are all wrong for each other. Do you know what I mean? It's like a boxer.
No.
Stop shouting, Sahil. Antonio stats since last October. In terms of what? In terms of mileage, in terms of goals scored, in terms of assists, in terms of aerials won. Give me a bit more information. You know, you're making a request for stats. On what?
I'll tell you what, Sahil, I've got one for you. Give me Benrahma's stats after the Newcastle game. Because that's where you're going with this. I know it is.
What, the Newcastle game at home?
No, the first game of the season.
Oh, okay. Premier League or in the whole 9 yards? Because I can do it right here if you want me to.
I'll tell you now. Antonio puts in more effort per minute of a game, than Benrahma does. And that's all I care about.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That's all I care about. Is
as a striker.
The effort that's put in. The effort that's put in by a player means more to me than, you know, some prima donna prancing around the pitch like a wanker, which is how I feel that Benrahma's been recently.
You're entitled to that view, my friend. I mean, say about a striker, Duke. I mean, you're old enough to remember Emil Heskey. Well, Emil Heskey, as a goal scoring force, wasn't really all that. But if you talk to a lot of the players that played with him, and principally I'm thinking Michael Owen, he turns around and says that the best strike partner he ever had was Emil Heskey because he worked so hard.
Tirelessly.
He made Michael Owen's job so much easier for him. And listen, all I'm saying is that Michail Antonio works bloody hard. Sometimes he doesn't get a reward in terms of goals scored, in terms of assists or whatever. But sometimes, you know, his work rate, and we haven't got anyone else. So he plays. That's not his fault.
Walshy, spot on, son.
This one.
Yep. Hang on.
Yeah.
So Sahil's asking about Haller.
Right.
Well, what are you doing? Because once again, your argument with him is he only gave 50% when he was on the pitch. He walked around. It didn't work for West Ham.
Yeah, he's not a bad player, but
and same as Benny. Same as Benny. It's just not working for him. It's not working
for whatever reason. And like I say, I think it's just as much player as it is the manager setting up the rest of the team. Do you know what I mean? So,
Mr. Kent, boom, drop mic. There it is.
Fair point. So
there it is.
Anyway, we've nearly been going for an hour. I think we've kind of aired our grievances. We've said that the ref was crap. We've said that the players were rolling around and feigning injury at every opportunity and
too much.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add before we knock it on the head, mate?
No, I think we've covered what we need to cover. I think my battery is at 7%. I do need to put it on charge before we do these things, otherwise it will die on me.
You always do this.
I know, it's amazing. What I will say is we now go to Lyon in 7 days' time with a massive opportunity still at our feet.
Sorry.
Do you mean you're going? Are you going to see West Ham in 2 weeks' time? Do you mean that we're going to sell Ben Rama in 2 weeks' time?
Do you think if David Moyes could sell Ben Rama right now that he would?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I also think Vlasic. Vlasic probably wouldn't be around if Moyes could sell.
Probably.
People. You know, but hey ho.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Let's call it a day before I end up in a fight.
Do you know what I thought about that earlier, Mark? That was exactly what I thought. You know, because we lost at home against Mets in that game.
Did.
Was it Louis Saha, wasn't it, scored, if I remember correctly? Who later went on to Manchester United, Everton. And we went to Mets and everybody thought, it's not going to happen, is it? And we went and won 3-1. So it ain't over. This is not over. So results count, my friend. Stop shouting. Stop shouting. Find your caps lock. You sound very angry. Anyway, I'm sure he's not. Anyway, right, Duke, I'm going to knock it on the head there. We're going to do our match preview for the Brentford fixture tomorrow, aren't we? What time? What time do you think, mate?
Well, I'm not working till 6. I don't know what Joe's got planned for us tomorrow. So do you want to go midday? 11:30 midday? Are you good with that?
If you guys want to join us, I'll set something up. 11:30 midday, something like that. So yeah, let's do it. It's a date. Duke. Oh, before I do, we'll get this little bit of housekeeping out of the way. Please don't forget to like, comment on and share the stream. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you haven't done so already, hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. And as always, we thank you very much indeed for your support. As it says there, put a comment. I quite enjoy after the stream has finished if people put in, not just in the live chat, but comments on the video itself for us to sort of get into and whatever. I quite enjoy that interaction. And as it says, share it on your social media platforms. Share it onto your social media platforms. And if you know any fellow West Ham fans that like to listen to a couple of 40-year-old-ish geezers prattling on about West Ham, then
you're how old?
40-ish, I said. I did say 40-ish. Well, I suppose I'm probably nearer 50.
That was a great little giggle from your missus there.
Yes. Well, you know, she's only sort of, you know, because she's younger than me, but not by much. It has to be said. Anyway, Duke, what are we?
We're still massive. The referee
We are
minnows.
And we're going to Lyon next week, and hopefully we're going to get a performance and we're going to get through to the Barcelona or Eintracht Frankfurt game.
They drew 1-1.
Yeah, they did. Anyway.
And Frankfurt had 10 men.
It can be done. It can be done. Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, you Irons.